Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. I was so excited to see Mad Black TV talking about the whole hijacking of supposed pro-blackness by the revival of Trump's reputation and thereby the white man's reputation. And it's been very clever, very clever. So I was already going to discuss it. It's just to have others discuss it too. It always makes whatever I have to say more credible, and I'm going to just lace into it. But before I get started with all of that, first I want to thank Dr. She for doing this promo for Furnace of Affliction that he didn't tell me he was doing it, and it was just so phenomenal. He knows how to edit stuff together and get him and tech are buddies. And so yeah, go to 25,000 Year Cycle and support your soldiers, because we need our soldiers. I need you to also, all of you who are fighting that good fight out there, I need you. And nobody else right now who's black is sharing the totality of what man-made radiation does. And thereby your assistance is absolutely critical. Whenever someone purchases something, I do my best to remember to thank them. If you don't hear me thanking somebody, that's because I need someone to go purchase stuff, and then I'll be able to heartily, from my soul, thank you for assisting me in what is vital work. So thank you to Dr. She, who I wouldn't be able to do anything that I'm doing without that black man providing home and warmth and comfort and love, black love. And on this excellent channel, this is run by Sister Angela Riley, who is Brother Iyapo Yapa's amazing queen. I was invited by her. I am so honored to speak about the writing process this Friday at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time AM. I don't know exactly if she'll broadcast it live or what, but it's going to be available, and if she permits me to do so, I'll put it on this channel also, but that's this Friday. Now, of course, we know who this is, and I have many ways of twisting her name around all sorts of directions, but she's protected by White Zaddy, and thereby she has no idea what is in store for her ultimately, and I'm going to lay that out in this share. I entreat you to watch the entire share, as it's going to be chock full of information and data that is necessary in understanding what these people are doing. So, beloved Sister Nasai, let me know that Candace has been, or at least, I think she said it was in episode 82, could have been 84, 86. I don't know. I didn't go to watch it, sister. I appreciate you letting me know, because that is very informative as to the power that we have as individuals when we've been trained to think, well, you know, your vote doesn't count. I know my vote in obeyance to this lunacy, that doesn't count. But the vote in obeyance to Allah and use the name of the one and only that you have been righteously guided to embrace. I know obedience to him is everything. It broadcasts its strength all over the planet. And that also reminds me, before I forget, do not fall for much of the propaganda, such as I've noticed in treatment, to just meditate. Don't do prayers, as if there's some sort of battle between the two methods. of improving your spirit and your soul and your ability to handle stress. And there's no conflict. Meditation is proven to be very helpful. But what they're doing is they're juxtaposing it so it seems as if prayer is a selfish act. I've never in my life heard of such the lie as that. Not that the people perpetuating this are liars. They may have fallen for the atheistic propaganda themselves, and all I have to say is look to China if you want to find out how that atheism works over a while, especially when you have a devil in charge. But anyone I have ever asked, and I don't ask because it's not my business, but when it comes to prayer, it's sort of like a given that you're going to pray for all the good people around you, not just for your own selfish self. You're going to pray so that you can become a better servant to the Most High. And the last time I looked through the holy books, it was all about building a more heavenly environment for not just yourself, but for all those around you. So this is what the share is going to just encompass, is this beguilement into the nothingness. But I also wanted to add here, because I'm kind of editing this all together as I'm speaking, I love your comments. I love your likes. They are helpful in terms of the algorithms. If you find my content beneficial, then definitely like. And once again, definitely you can donate, or you could go to 25,000 Year Cycle, where we have products available, and your purchases help us tremendously. Back to the video. Propaganda, such as the propaganda where they're trying, I had white people once again coming up trying to say like, oh, go listen to Candace. She's talking against, voting for Kamala. She rolled out all the different things about Kamala. Of course I'm not voting for Kamala. I know tons of the different things about her, what they even won't broadcast about her and Tim Walz. But for them to, because they did this when she first was pushed onto the scene, literally, she had no following amongst black people. She's there to slowly talk us into being Procyon Loters. And that means a word that they won't let me say, but it's see, looking at you with both my eyes, N, okay? If you could put all that together, then you know what I'm saying. So she was like running it down about Kamala as if this was supposed to be enough to make her pro-black. But my point is that she mentioned Fukushima, not in the video concerning Kamala. That would get too many viewers. But as I didn't listen, I don't know. I know she didn't talk about Fukushima, about man-made radiation, in an aspect that would take down her white zaddy. Of course she couldn't. Of course they would never. They would never. As they're now pushing the CMOS to white people. Because, as I say, we are far more powerful than we acknowledge, especially when we are consistent, as I have been. I'm in the middle of writing my 3rd novel, and I stayed up last night late because I just couldn't not write it. It's so good. It's so good. And I do that. I never wanted to write books. I just wanted to live a regular life, just like most people. But I knew our misguidance that's been given to us by these devils is so intense. The propaganda that is pro-nuclear is so intense that I've never seen a single one of our warriors address this highly hidden genocidal weapon. This sucker is, I don't want to get into the details of all of it, but just let me show you this photo right here of an unprecedented release of radioisotopes to the ocean. This is to let you know the levels of energy that came out of Fukushima. Chernobyl, oh, it's all the way down there. And weapons testing is all the way down here in terms of just the deluge. And Fukushima hasn't stopped. There's no sarcophagus over it. Well, at the same time, it is sucked up by everything that's in the waters. The plant life, the phytoplankton, the zooplankton, which they've been adding from the sewage on both the East Coast and the West Coast, but primarily they started on the West Coast because suddenly there were like glowing zooplankton that weren't being checked because the phytoplankton, all the creatures that would have ordinarily eradicated them and kept the pH balance on the positive side, they've been obliterated by the radiation. That means our oxygen is in danger because that's what the phytoplankton provided. Well, here is a photo I got from Daily Mail. Right down there you can see 24/7 mirror. I don't know, that's not the Daily Mail logo, but this is where I got it from. And up here they had polluted water, just regular water, and they use man-made filters on the left at the bottom, and they use mussels on the right at the bottom. This is the result of the two processes. The mussels sucked up every single thing. So whatever they sucked up, it didn't disappear. It ain't magical. It's still in their flesh. And if you're eating it, that's what you're getting. Same thing with the radiation, which doesn't announce itself as clearly as the debris in the top two tanks. You can't see it, you can't taste it, you can't smell it. But even touching it, since it's deadly on a one atom basis, oh my goodness. And so Candace is being used and abused, but she doesn't care because she swears that we're stupid when to reach the various conclusions that just she's already eliminating herself from existence by being with that friggin' duck lip guy. But to support a satanic agenda, which is the destruction of the entire planet. But this sellout mentioned Fukushima, and she's supposed to be intelligent, so that would mean she did further investigation. She might have been told to mention Fukushima, or she might have watched one of my videos. I don't know. She might have watched Dana Durnford's videos or Kevin Blanche, because that is such a war tool that they're hiding utterly. And they know the implications of what anti-nukers are sharing. And she's supporting the hiding of it because she said not very much at all. I'm quite certain. Planet. You got to be not too swift because you're headed to, well, as I say, I'll get to that later on. But what about her and the sudden comfort that different, obviously racist platforms and persons such as Donald Trump have in speaking on aspects of their tyranny against us as if they're one of us. Like this whole art and zero hedge is so they hate us. Oh my goodness. Watch. CNN panel goes berserk when guest suggests field blacks are voting for Trump. As brother Mad Black TV mentioned in his wonderful share, it's just going from one plantation to the next. Because there's so much about Donald Trump. Like recently he was coming out once again with the, why do you have to be so nice when you're putting them inside the cop car? If you bump their heads a little bit, he's encouraging police brutality. I thought we were against that. I thought that's what the whole wife beater wearing was a swirler George Floyd thing was all about. So I know, I look at that and I'm like, I know that was a setup. But they don't mind because they don't like us. And also, white people are losing it like big friggin' time. There's so many documentaries, stories, and I mean, there's a book called Killer Moms. And I'm not saying that there aren't black women out there who've done horrifying things to their children. But us being perfect is a false dichotomy where in order to warrant complete sovereign liberation, we must be down to a man, woman, and child, probably even a zygote. We must be perfect. But they are the measure because they insist they get to judge if we're worthy, and then they control the narrative against us using the hypnotizing, beguiling falseness that they're perfect. When I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. But even still, they're just like, I had to curtail severely watching all of the murder documentaries because I actually have a real heart. I feel for any victim of any violence whatsoever, anywhere. I don't wish harm on anybody, but they're so freaking freaked out in their own heads that they don't want what's coming at them from Allah, from Yah. They don't want that. And so they'll just keep up this whole stereotyping deluge, and just so that they could get us to agree with the whole expunging of us into the nothingness. Now, when I talk about the nothingness, I am not speaking on it in terms of mysticalism. There's a lot of folks out there, because they know that we fundamentally understand that the Creator is real, and they take advantage of that by speaking all of this mumbo jumbo, nine ether this and mystical pontification that. I'm talking science. And even their scientists overwhelmingly say the way everything's structured, that's not by accident. That is intelligent design. And then they go on to lie about bunches of other things. But so when I'm talking about the nothingness, I'm talking about antimatter. There is the Creator who created himself, birthed himself from the nothingness. Simply, I can't even imagine because I wasn't there, but the science pinpoints that's the only origin of the Big Bang, because otherwise there'd be lots of other little Big Bangs all over the daggone place. They're none. They're none. Everything we experience in our own individual lives is a lesson. It's a lesson. This is the greatest school system you've ever been involved with. And the lesson is bow down. Bow down to the one and only, not to them and their lunacy. So that's why they have in this. I did a documentary on it where this Netflix movie, White Noise, was, God, it was really boring to watch, but it was so cryptic from beginning to end because they're in panic. They're in panic. They're losing. When you kill oceans, you lose. Because as long as the world thought, oh, they just don't like black people. They just don't like black people. They were fine with that. But when you kill oceans, you're killing everybody and everything. Everything. It's no longer just specific. So they need Satanism to come on in, because Satanism's going to lie. Oh my God, is it going to lie? But some folks are more vulnerable to the madness than black you and I are. such as this article here, tattoos signal satanic possession in South Korea. This is going off the charts. I'm not going to get into it in detail, but I have noted in their dramas on Netflix, and I go, like a lot of people, I found out there's a lot of black women watching Korean dramas because a lot of us, we're sick of them. We're sick of watching the Caucasians, and that's okay. We don't want to hurt them on the other side, right? It's simply that I've seen this lie before. And everything they offer is so demonic. Oh my goodness. But inside these Korean romances where it should just be about love, they'll inevitably have some sort of devilish icon thrown up in there, because that's how they normalize deviancy. That's how they normalize the whole just nothingness religion, which there are different books that I've become aware of that I'm not in the mood for getting, but there's different levels of Satanists. From people who are just like, yo, I just wanted to go where the rave was, to those who literally seek the nothingness. You can't talk them out of it, and I'm not trying. I'm just trying to let you know what's up with Trump, okay? This is what's up with him. Where they don't want us, like in the show, she was supposed to, the middle woman is a scientist. She's supposed to be so brilliant, but she's too dumb to know that having that creamy crack hair would be impeding her ability to think well over the long term, right? And all these are like professors, educated. Andre 3000 over there, he was supposed to be the rapper to gain our attention. And then the other two white professors are right in between all of them even getting together. The black people never make eye contact with each other. And the Don Cheadle character, he was making a big old deal of something that looked more like our hair on a white woman. But he's not going to tell the sister, well, that's your DNA. That comes out like that automatically. Right? So this is what Donald Trump is. This is just going from one plantation to the next, because this is all white nothingness. They are in a petty, ridiculous, nonstop, and it is in their nature argument with the one and only, that they'll never win. There's no place in these books of holy guidance that says, oh, and after the last days the devil wins. Right? No. If you stuck up there with him, you going down. I'm just saying. So they're just getting black us ready to make America great again by using us as their punching dummies. That's why they're up here with the few blacks voting for Trump. Yeah, because they're saying, you still on the plantation. I've read comments in Zero Hedge where someone was saying, oh, black people, they just want to be controlled. Literally. I don't have time to always screen capture everything because I got a life and I'm writing a book. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to have to mention it. And you're going to have to believe that somebody like me would not be kidding you. Hey? They think that that's all we're about. Why? Because they have traumatized us for so long. It is hard for many of us to fathom that any beings would be so relentlessly vile that it's not in our nature at all to be. It's not in our impulse to just never want to stop hunting folks just so you could have, for some, material gain, bragging rights, but then for others, the nothingness. So they've been working on us for a good long while. They even get it to this point where thousands flocked to Black Lives Matter Plaza to celebrate Biden's win. Really? Why did you even vote for this dude in the first place? He didn't hide his origins, his own racist ways, and he wasn't changing. This entire thing has been a orchestrated assault to make it seem as if we support trans radical lunacy. And we don't. We just don't. But I theorize they sort of knew that. And then once they make it so bad on one side, they offer the other side, Demon A or Demon B, we're going to make you fearful of either one this way or that, so that you're not thinking you're a scientist. You are with melanin, you are a natural born scientist. Rather than thinking and strategizing so we can protect our children from the ultimate killer they're hiding, we're going to just fearfully run on over to Trump. We're, master over on Demon A plantation is so much better. Over here, I've been over here with the Demon Bs for too long. And I'm not making fun of us. I'm trying to talk like, back in those days, that's what we talked about. And it wasn't all of us who were on the plantations. Right? I'm just saying, fear is not a reason to make your enemy feel like it's okay to just start increasing the insulting nature of what they're saying, because until we are in control of our own destiny, you, white people, need to shut up. You need to not say nothing insulting towards us whatsoever, because we don't have control over our own destiny. We don't have control over our own narrative so that we could stop the propaganda, the brainwashing that's endless. Endless. And so it was George Soros who started out funding Black Lives Matter. And that's why they showed up in the places they did, just friggin' ambulance chasing the murder of our people. So that they could, and then later on, because they weren't effective, because they admitted finally that their original mission statement was right, that they were there to destroy the black male patriarchy. What? It's already been destroyed. We need it to be strong. And you want to come in and destroy it? And right off the bat, you're like, okay, Patrice Cullors, I see where your communist training is coming from. Right? There ain't nothing, all of them together. The communism, the democracy, the capitalism, they're all working on Satan's behalf. Right? And so Black Lives Matter was funded by this guy who, he was born in Hungary. But they hate him. They enacted laws against George Soros. I know the dude is dead. Doesn't matter. His son's going to take over for him. Right? They enacted laws to try to stop him from doing what he was well taught and strategized to do, which is destabilize whole political systems, whole governments, whole nations. And they kicked his behind out. So when you see them making inroads in Korea, there's lots of Koreans who are just like, for a lot of Asian people, white people are just the it. And they have a historical, mythology surrounding evil, demonic beings. And so they're open to the beguilement because they are absolutely in love with anything that white people say. Their whole schooling is based on white doctrine. And that's why for them, it's just like it's a clean infestation. Where this article was saying, I'm reading it behind my image right here, but it's like, let's see now. I have been traveling in South Korea, and I've noticed many young women have grotesque tattoos on their forearms and chest, even face tattoos. And he just talks about how this is something that's just spreading. It was never like this before. So this is not something they're going to be showing in those Korean romance movies, but in the other bloodfest, gory ones, it's nonstop horror, because that's what is the structure of the nothingness. Everything is torn asunder. Everything. There's no personalities. There's no individualism. There's nothing. Which explains this, really. I mean, I've noticed them hinting at the antimatter for quite a while. And I've mentioned it like in Deep Space Horizon or Deep Horizon. That's the name of the movie. Where they just, I realized they're talking the scientific attributes of antimatter. And so this right here, beloved cookie brand goes viral for strange post that leaves fans questioning the beloved cookie brand Nutter Butter. That is like a major cookie brand. I used to eat that when I was a child. Would never touch any of this crap now. But I'm just saying, this is the type of stuff that they've been posting in their ads. This is freaking creepy. It reminds me very much of, I can't remember the white comedian who was in that Elf Christmas movie thing where he had videos on YouTube that were suggesting child abuse, it was so, and as soon as I saw him, I said, oh, he one of them deep in there. Okay, there's so many of them who are part of these, Luciferian organizations. They're all the same, but this is like, yeah, you going to the creeptoid nothingness. Why would they be doing this? Supposed to be the family. A lot of white people know this is what's on the way. I'm not saying that, look at that, right? It is the removal. They're falling. It is the removal of the blessings from the one and only, so that you literally have nothing. That's what Mark Zuckerberg's shirt is all about. It's Caesar or it's nothing. They kind of probably, a lot of them would prefer the nothing. But I'm saying for them, it's like a blatant either or. I had that quote from the Talmud. It's actually from a book called The Influence of Sabbatean Frankism on the World by Russ Winter. And he says, the Talmud states that the Messiah will only come in an age that is completely guilty or completely innocent. And that's in the section Sanhedrin 98a. From this epigram, the Frankists would declare, since we cannot all be saints, let us all be sinners. And that's what they're on about with the attempts, the nonstop, just shoving in our face perversion and debauchery on a level that, it is regurgitate fest. But it's a lie straight out the bat, because the Most High, He sees your good deeds. He sees you. It doesn't matter if you're in a whole crowd of lunatics. Try not to be. But at the same time, He saw Moses and Aaron. And then there he was. There they were with the chosen people, setting up golden calves and doing all sorts of stuff that was, don't you do that. But He saw them. He knew they were good. He sees everything, small as a mustard seed. And smaller, I would say, since He said it would be the fire coming, it wouldn't be the rain anymore. It wouldn't be floods. And that's what the rainbow was for, and they stole it from us. Right? It would be the fire. Man-made radiation is a fire on a subatomic level. It's just all plain as day, is so exact and precise. So these dudes, they're liars. They're liars because they're about destroying everything using any method whatsoever. As a matter of fact, in California, they have mandated, and I'm speaking this, without confirming by finding the specific article that said that this is what's going on. They're mandating climate change classes for high school students. Can you believe they had to get them young, okay? And I had said Raymond Levine, who his name is not meant to be Rachel, so I'm not going to lie on his behalf. You pull us all into your trans surgical lies. I had to chop that out, what I said before. Your trans sutured up lies. No, I'm not going along with that. You are the sex you were born. All right? He had said that he wanted to go into black communities because suddenly black people were being concerned about the environment. I am taking a firm guess, a deduction. That's because of me. That's because of me. Because ain't nobody out here talking about the environment with the dedication that I am, where I write books in order to get the warning out, because radiation kills on a one-atom basis. I said that earlier, but let me repeat it. Because it's in our food. They're allowing it in. The FDA has removed all alerts from everything being shipped in from Japan. And they are, through the CMOS, through their shipping, donating rice to African and Caribbean nations from Japan. Right? Grown in Fukushima. Come on now. Something on a one-atom basis that gets up into the food system. It's going to be popping in that rice. It doesn't matter if they add non-radioactive rice on top of that. It's just one atom. You can't see a million atoms on the tip of a pin. It surely can infuse and infest a grain of rice. One grain's all you need. Right? And so, to have heard that Procyon Loader dance had spoke about Fukushima, that's because she needs some sort of credibility with pro-black us who may have run across my warnings. They don't want anybody to resist evil. They want evil to be fair-seeming because the nothingness, there's nobody and nothing that has a difference of opinion allowed. It's antimatter. It destroys all consideration of creation, of existence. For them, that's the mindset that they're talking about, as if they already are in the nothingness, because they're, I always like to say it's a juvenile type of soul that they have, and so that's why they're so close to believing that the nothingness sounds preferable, where when I postulate what it is, it's every single electrical frequency removed from any distance, any protection, any sense of time. So it's all the electricity that has ever fried anything for all time. It was so much power. It was enough power for Allah to create everything. And he's so all-powerful that he stopped it. He transformed it the way that he needed to do so that we can enjoy the beauty of life. We can enjoy laughter. We can enjoy sunshine, trees, flowers. Not this, but beautiful, amazing. Black us, black love, the right to celebrate what the Creator made us to be. Magnificent, magnificent. So we've been, and it's not just me on this score, definitely not, all right? But we've been so effective that they're even now making it seem as if they're supporting black nationalism. But right at the outset, the headline says, extremists. Is Sweden extreme? That they want to stay Sweden? Is, Norway extreme? That they're like, yo, we're Norwegians. We're black. Right? Now, whatever we figure out to call ourselves after that, never get rid of the black. Because that's our power. That's that melanin. Okay? I'm just saying. There's a reason why we stay rooted for the most part. These people can and do drive us crazy. Okay? But extremist black nationalist education boss, they always put this, like he wants to be a chief. He wants to be the witch doctor. They always minimize and diminish our authority to rule over ourselves by using these little words here. Because this guy, he's a stooge. I'm quite sure he's a stooge. But let me finish the headline. Extremist black nationalist education boss backed by Bill Gates. You mean the guy who just made a peel that's on all the fruit and vegetables, and they're not even listing it for the people who have spent decades just buying organic produce because we know what those pesticides do to your neurons? Right? Now all of a sudden we have no say. All the money that we've spent extra on organic, we have no say. Right? Bill Gates, there are things about Bill Gates that, remember, I don't know, but I posted a meme where it's just telling the facts about this dude. They took it down. They took it down. Right? So you can't even tell the facts about that dude. And he's backing a black nationalist? No. This is going to explode, just like BLM. This is going to explode. Extremist black nationalist education boss backed by Bill Gates gets $20 million to bring, and then look, they're already exploding it right here in just this headline, to bring segregation in U.S. schools. It's not segregation if you're not backed by Bill Gates. It's separation. That's what the Most High told us to do. Segregation keeps them in charge. That's why they use that rhetoric up in here. And certain operatives have used the same, where you will suddenly just pop in the word segregation and never mention separation. That's what the reparations is all about. If you don't attach it to our right to legislate and be the judicial force over our own communities, then all reparations is going to be as a bribe. So that after that, shut up, black people. If we come in here from Utah or from Iowa and we want to gun you down, you voted for Trump. You voted for him, right? You can't tell us to get out. We gave you money. So shut up, right? That's what that's about. So the whole segregation thing is a lie. No, we're supposed to separate. We are a separate people. Obviously, we're applauding somebody, Kendrick Lamar's, because it was true. They're not like us. Even though he married himself some high yellow girl, and he didn't want that to be showcased. So even in the music video, he has her in the shadows. Stop. Okay? He wants to be Drake. I'm just saying, all right? And so this is what they do because a lot of us feel exactly the same way, that we are done. We're done. We don't need them. We don't think they're the most beautiful anymore. We don't think they're the smartest anymore. We're done. And we know the setup. We know the setup. So once you submit to sanity, under the guidance of the one and only, you can't be fooled anymore. You know what righteousness is and what it must remain. Yes, the devil will come along that straight path, looking for us, hunting for us, and there'll always be imperfect black people, imperfect every people. I support real diversity, where it's a planet filled with magnificent cultures and races everywhere we go. This whole idea of don't divide and conquer, no, that is the conquering. Because what they mean, they don't mean diversity. They mean the all-seeing eye. They mean they are Caesar or they are nothing. Let's you and I, who, if we bow down, will, as he said, earn the favor of the Most High. Let us rejoice at the coming of the end of everything and the beginning of everything real and alive and magnificent. Finally, listening to him completely for guidance, so there are never any more devils getting on the straight path and making us trip over what used to be pebbles, but right now they're trying their best to make it seem as if it's a bunch of boulders, and it ain't nothing but a bunch of BS, okay? All right. Mwah. Please go to 25000yearcycle.org and get your healing done. I and Dr. She have amazing products that we produce because, what? We don't just want to be here and offer you nothing. You can find out how to protect yourself from the man-made radiation that's in all of our foods, right? Through purchasing my book, Furnace of Affliction. And you can call Dr. She and get deeply studied understanding of all the afflictions that live in under the commands of these friggin' lunatics is inevitably going to bring to all of us. All right? All right. But some of us, with those skills, will be all right. Straight black pride is our deed to forever. Peace and blessings. I love you.